Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dan on Sports. Well, the numbers are in as far as Major League Baseball payroll for the 2024 season. And for the third straight year, the New York Mets had the highest payroll at $333.3 million. At least hedge fund owner Steve Cohen got some of his money's worth because the Mets really captivated the baseball nation by advancing to Game 6 of the NLCS against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And we'll break these numbers down a bit more because I'll tell you something, there's a message behind all of these figures. But anyway, the Mets had the highest payroll for the third straight year at $333.3 million. The New York Yankees, who won the American League pennant, came in second. They had the second highest payroll at $310.5 million. The Los Angeles Dodgers, who won the World Series, well, they came in third. They had the third highest payroll at $270.8 million. That's very deceptive. We'll get to that in just a moment. There's the Dodgers, $270.8 million. And the Philadelphia Phillies came in fourth at $249.1 million. The team which came in last, the Oakland Athletics. Their last year in Oakland, they had a total team payroll of $66.5 million. We'll get to the Mets in just a moment. But let's examine, first of all, the Los Angeles Dodgers, because that payroll of $270.8 million is very deceptive. Shohei Ohtani, who signed the largest contract in baseball year before last, a 10-year, $700 million contract, has most of his money deferred. Right now, he's getting paid $2 million a year by the Dodgers. So the Dodgers do a tremendous end around the luxury tax, which officially is known as the competitive balance tax, but commonly is referred to as the luxury tax. So yes, the Dodgers do pay a luxury tax, but they get around paying more because most of Ohtani's contract is deferred. So you look at that Dodgers payroll figure, $270.8 million, and you figure, well, it's got to be higher than that with Ohtani. But the Dodgers are experts at this. Other teams defer salaries too, but the Dodgers, who had another freewheeling offseason as far as signing free agents are concerned, once again had most of those contracts deferred to avoid paying more in the luxury tax area. And in the case of somebody like an Ohtani, and for some of these other players, like an Ohtani or a Blake Snell, who signed a deferred contract with the Dodgers, it helps them as far as the income tax is concerned, the California income tax. So it's just amazing the gimmicks that play legally, but amazing the gimmicks that these teams play, and the Dodgers are experts at it. All right, forget about the Dodgers, who are owned by billionaires. Let's look at the Mets, who are owned by a multi-billionaire, Stephen Cohen, who is a hedge fund operator. We mentioned that payroll of $333.3 million last year. Cohen bought the Mets in November of 2020, which means he's had 4 seasons to operate the ball club. His combined payroll over that 4-year spread, are you sitting? $1.36 billion. $1.36 billion. Remember, we're not talking about the upcoming season and the Soto contract. That's a conversation for another day. What we're talking about is right now, over that 4-year period, he had a total payroll of $1.36 billion. Let's put that in perspective. The Miami Marlins, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Tampa Bay Rays, over the last 21 seasons, combined payrolls. Marlins, over that 21-year period, their payroll totaled $1.34 billion. The Pirates, over that 21-year period, $1.32 billion. And the Rays, over that 21-year period, $1.32 billion. So there you have the Mets over a 4-year period with a total payroll of $1.36 billion. And then you have the Rays and the Pirates over that 21-year period with a combined payroll of $1.32 billion each team, and the Marlins over that 21-year period, a total payroll of $1.34 billion. And you don't think baseball has a problem? And the sport is on a collision course because of those numbers I just told you. What kind of a collision course? Well, just keep this in mind. The contract between the Major League Baseball Players Association and the owners expires after the 2026 season. And already Tony Clark, the head of the association, predicts the owners will lock out the players. And if there's not a lockout, will there be a strike? And what's the argument going to be over? The owners want a salary cap. Most of the owners, anyway. They do want a salary cap. And the association is a dead set against a salary cap. Tony Clark has been making the rounds, talking to these teams during spring training, already predicting a lockout and saying that these teams are doing well. You don't need a salary cap. You don't need a salary cap? Where's the balance? If you're a Pirates fan, if you are a Marlins fan, if you are a Tampa Bay Rays fan, where's your hope? I know the Rays have been just a model team as far as how they're able to dance around not having a high payroll, but that does catch up to you now when you've got teams owned by billionaires, the big market teams like the Dodgers, like the Yankees, like the Mets. That changes everything. In fact, you can make a case that George Steinbrenner's son, Hal, who now owns the team, you can make a case that Hal's Yankees aren't even in the same ballpark, even though they have their high payroll when it comes to the multi-billionaires of the Mets and the Dodgers. But that's a separate topic. The bottom line is there's a major disparity here. When you've got the New York Mets, and we're illustrating them because they've had the highest payroll for 3 straight years, when you have the New York Mets over the last 4 years with a combined payroll of $1.36 billion, that is higher than 3 teams when you look at their combined payroll over a 21-year period. That's a big, big problem. And by the way, those 3 teams I mentioned over that 21-year period, well, Pirates haven't won a World Series during that period. Tampa Bay hasn't won a World Series. They've won a couple of pennants. And the Marlins did win the World Series in 2003, but that's really it. Now, Baseball's association will say, yeah, but you don't have any dynasties anymore. You have different teams making it to the postseason and different teams advancing to the World Series. That's not the point. The point is the game is out of whack, and it's on a collision course, and the issue needs to be addressed. Will it? I don't know. All I will say is this. Enjoy the 2025 and 2026 baseball seasons because no one knows what's going to happen after. And one other point. If you say, well, the big leagues will just substitute with the minor league players, will they? Remember, the minor league players were never part of a union, but they organized a couple of seasons ago and were recognized by Major League Baseball. So they are union members. Now, if the Players Association is locked out and the owners call the minor leaguers up to continue with Major League Baseball, will the minor leaguers risk alienating their brethren at the major league level by crossing a picket line? Remember, they're members of a union now. Are they going to cross that line? It's considered a different union than the Major League Baseball Players Association, but they are now still unionized. And obviously that union is recognized by Major League Baseball. Are these minor league players going to cross a line if there's a lockout of the big league players in 2027? Or if the association decides to go on strike, will the minor league players cross a line in order to play big league baseball? A lot of moving parts here. So enjoy 2025 and 2026 because the game is on a collision course and no one knows how it's going to end. That's going to do it for Dan on Sports. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Subscribe to the channel. Give it a like. It helps as we try to build the channel up. And be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. Boy, a lot of subscribe words there. Subscribe to my newsletter as well. You can do that at sportscasterdan.com.